For the next few minutes, we'll be talking about a movie that premiered last week. I think, yes, August the 28th it was. And joining me in studio today, Lowry Odhiambo, who's an actor in the movie. We also have the director, Simon Mukali, and cinematographer, Shiv Mandavia, with us this morning. And we'll talk to you more about that shortly. But first, let's have a look at the trailer of Veve.
Okay.
Just chew.
Okay.
Do not swallow.
Okay. Wait, that's it.
How did we do this month?
Quite well.
I want more than quite well.
If you win the elections.
When I win the elections.
Nataka niwe governor, alafu niwe rais wa nchi.
We should become business partners. Because of the illegalities, I know it's a major problem. But it is one fat cash cow.
Markala sarki dono.
Nimekuwa nikitazama Obama. Kuna hotuba yake moja niliona kwenye internet. Sikiza. If you're walking down the right road and you're willing to keep walking, eventually you're gonna make progress.
Nikuulize, unaweza faini na 3 million. 3 million.
Wale wakulima wanataka kuanzisha union.
Burn down his farm.
Ati?
You, my friend, have an attitude of complacency.
Tujua kipimo chake.
I believe there are no limits.
Usingizi mangamu ngamu.
Lazima nikaribia Amos.
Uwami sipati.
Wanakuja.
Nafaa kwenda.
Natazama juu.
Unakumbuka ukilala barabarani? Njaa.
Save me right now.
Nataka uhakikishe kuwa ametembea na magoti.
Waxaan helaa akhbaarta Amos.
Natazama juu.
Wakati upita haraka. Truths reveal themselves too late.
Save me.
And you get stuck in something that you thought would make you happy.
Mola niende wapi you. Save me right now. Save me. Save me.
The trailer, the new movie, premiered last week, Veve, with some of the team members of that brought that to make that happen. The director will tell us about what it is about. Veve, also an interesting name. Let's start with what it's about.
Well, Veve is a Kenyan story, essentially, and it's a multi-character kind of story where you're following several people's stories or lives, and they're trying to find themselves. And you get to find people who want to do revenge. Politics is involved as well. There's the business of Mira as well itself, and also trying to find love. So these characters, you follow their story against the backdrop of this business as they're trying to find themselves or find some closure in their lives, essentially. Yeah.
What informed it to have that, to follow this? Is it just to present a picture of what is everyday life for some people, or what was it that inspired the movie?
Well, the movie was written by a great scriptwriter. Her name is Natasha Likimani, and she was fascinated by the world of Mira. And she wanted, this is a story that's never been done before, and it's uniquely Kenya. I mean, Mira has been banned in many other countries, but it's really thriving here. So I think it was quite interesting for her to try and explore something around that, and just try to depict the lives of the farmers as well, and see the people around there. What are the things that possibly influence their decisions, you know? So I think it was a fantastic setting to pick for me, because it's an exciting thing that's never been picked up before.
Lowry, how is it you came to be part of it?
Well, I've been acting for a long time, and when they advertised for the auditions, I finally got to make it for the auditions.
Yeah. What role do you play?
I play the role of Amos, who's one of the main characters in the movie. He's a politician, a businessman, and a family man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it you paint? Because with the politicians in Kenya, it's all about taking money from Mwananchi. Are you one of those?
Well, it's more or less the same thing, but it's just trying to bring out the character of Amos in the different facets of his life as depicted in the movie. As a businessman, there's a certain character that I have. As a family man, there's a certain character that I have. And just trying to merge all this and bring out the personality of this person who people think they know, but when you get to the end of the movie or somewhere in the middle of the movie, you realize, oh, okay, so this is who Amos is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cinematographer Shiv.
Yes.
people will talk more about a cameraman.
Yes.
So what's a cinematographer?
In very layman's terms, basically, I would explain that cinematographer is basically the art and process of movie photography, bringing out the director's vision in a visual painting, basically, with the help, obviously, with the art department, everyone. And basically, we portray a very visual image, strong image of what the director actually has in his mind. And yeah, absolutely, I think it was a fantastic job to work
So
on.
then that means you work very closely with the director
Yes,
to be able to get an
absolutely.
understanding of
Yeah.
what it is he wants to put together and do it. How was it working for and doing Veve?
It was an absolutely fantastic project to work on. We had probably one of the best upcoming, sprouting, talented skill and cast and talent who came together to work on this. And it was such a absolutely brilliant process we had, bringing everyone together, just only emotionally, and bringing out the film together. It was absolutely fantastic, yeah.
From writing to premiering of the movie, how long did that take?
It took roughly 2 years.
Wow.
Actually, from the time the scriptwriter started writing it to the time I came on board, started brainstorming about the direction the story could take. So it took roughly 2 years. So it's quite an investment, actually, in terms of time and sacrifice as well. Yeah.
Was it easy for you, Laurie, to get into this character as you're studying, going through script, acting this person out?
The most difficult part was the audition.
Really? What were you
yes.
expected to develop?
It was just something about the character of Amos that they were looking for.
Okay.
We had many great actors who came and auditioned for the role. But I got the chance, and the most difficult part was being someone who has grown up from a Christian family and bringing out the character of Amos. I'm a happy, nice, smiley person. But Amos was supposed to be, at some point, a very nasty person. So getting that was a bit difficult. But I got some tips from the director who was doing the casting. And they told me, it's easy for you. You know, if you're watching a movie of Jesus Christ or the life of Jesus, everybody wants to play the disciple, you know.
Yeah, the good people.
Nobody wants to play Judas, but someone has to play the part of Judas.
Yeah.
So when that thought hit me, I said, okay, let me try and be Judas and see how bad I can get at this. So that was the most difficult part for me.
You were bad.
I tried to be bad.
Do you see a lot of chewing in the movie?
We do have various little moments of chewing, and probably you can, people can educate themselves how it's actually
done.
but I want to emphasize, it's not really about the chewing. We're not.
Yeah, because
I mean,
that's
the
what I was
stories.
going to get to.
Exactly.
Do you, after watching the movie, feel like, whoa, I need to, perhaps try this out? Is it a movie that's also pushing that, propagating that?
I don't think you get that sense.
Yeah?
Well, maybe people watching it might get that sense. It depends which character you're connecting with mostly. But I think it's really in the background. It's about more of the stories of these people surrounding this business or the habit of chewing the mirror. So you do see people chewing it, and we just want to depict how people chew, how it looks like in real life. But the essence is to follow the story of this person and see where they're going exactly.
Yeah, so it's everyday life. Where should people go out to watch the movie, and where can they watch it?
You can catch the movie this weekend. In Nairobi, it's general release actually.
Yeah.
In Nairobi, Mombasa and Kisumu. So Nairobi, you can still catch the movie if you missed out on it last week. We are coming to Mombasa this weekend on Friday the 5th. So people in Mombasa, please prepare yourselves. Veve is coming down, catching the cinema at Nyali Cinemax.
Yes.
And in Kisumu, we are opening on the 6th, that's Saturday, at Planet Media Cinemas.
Why should people watch?
Because this is something that has never been done before, number one. Two, we have a lot of new, fresh talent who've really put their best. I worked with them on set, and I saw, you don't realize it at the time that you're shooting, but when you get to see the final product, you realize, oh, we have a lot of new talent out there. Yeah.
What would you say for somebody who wants to watch it, needs a little bit of convincing?
Yes, well, it's definitely a brand new aspect into Kenyan film television. I feel, I think Kenyan film the movie market is definitely growing, and this is definitely a stepping stone into it. It's a well-told story, well written. I think Simon did an absolute fantastic job. All the actors put in absolutely everything into it, and it's definitely something that's going to put out a little benchmark into the future of film.
Into the future.
Yes.
Before we move on, because I wanted to also talk about the film industry in general. For this movie, what were some of the challenges that you faced?
Well, of of course, time. It's quite a large project. It was quite an ambitious script, let me say that, with a lot of setups and so on and so forth, and we had to find great ways of how do you tell the story in the shortest way possible, but in the most creative way possible. So that was quite a challenge, actually, and just also trying to balance, because there are quite a number of languages in the movie itself. We have Somali, Meru, Kiswahili, English, and so on. So working out that dynamic with the actors and also getting them to get their moment while still speaking that language was also a challenge. But I think it was a very fantastic thing to work on, healthy challenge.
How long is it?
It's 90 minutes.
90 minutes
long, yeah.
For you, cinematographer, what were the challenges you faced?
Definitely, there were various challenges going into. We definitely went into Mawa, deep into where Mirai is grown and things. And obviously, seeing the reality of life, obviously, was a different aspect to what we actually have when we get back here. But I think the challenges basically occur in trying to bring the movie on together, aspecting different little characters into the base of the background of Veve. And I think Simon really brought everything together and, you know, brought it in together in the end, in the final product. It was absolutely fantastic to see those challenges overcome in the end.
So it's good you mentioned that, because I'd imagine it would be very important to be able to get that form of case study, to be in Meru with the people, get an understanding of how it is for them. So how long did that happen, that kind of just trying to understand the culture and the people at their level?
We've been basically researching these aspects of the project for over a year, definitely. We've visited many times just to understand the culture behind it, the tradition, the religious aspect, whatever it may relate to the story, and make it as real as possible to our fellow viewers.
Yeah.
I think it was important for us to go there and just see beforehand, so that also we can be able to also arrive at a good visual style, which Shiv and the team were able to execute very well, and also to be able to sell the idea to our cast members who maybe have not been there, and be able to make them understand the context they're going to be performing in and be able to bring it to life.
Did people come out for the premiere? Because one of the biggest thing with the film industry is the appreciation for local productions. Is that improving?
Yes, it is. At the premiere, we had 3 cinema halls filled to capacity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people are hungry for more local content.
Yeah.
And I would urge those who are able to, the producers and people who can invest in film, let's do more local content.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the reviews you got from the movie, people coming to watch? What are they saying?
They definitely had a positive aspect to us, the film. They did quite like it. Obviously, we had little bits and pieces to it, but definitely a lot of positive response for it, and we're definitely looking for more positive responses opening on Friday.
On the 5th?
On the 5th. On the 5th of September, when it opens in cinemas.
Yeah. Usually after you conclude such a project that's huge, a lot of money has gone into it, time as well, what do you do as a crew? As like everybody, what happens?
We can for interviews like this one.
No, like just right after you are done with everything, Kapish, it's good to, you know, for watching. What is that moment like for everybody?
It's unreal. I mean, people have different perspectives. But
what is it like for you as a director?
If I go to the premiere nights, I mean, it felt very surreal. To be honest, it felt. Of course, I've never been pregnant before, but it felt like, I mean, you've been working on this for 2 years, and it's like your baby is getting born, and there are all these people just filling up the whole place, like really excited, really looking forward to watching it. And then after watching it, the energy that was there, the positive response, the connection that they made with the content that we brought to them, I mean, it was really humbling, but also quite exciting. I was nervous before we went into that cinema. I wasn't sure, because for me it was very important that this is a Kenyan story. It's a story that people can relate with. It shouldn't be too high up that people are disconnected with it. It shouldn't be too down so that people look down on it, but it should be something people can connect with. And that for me was very important, and I was really, really humbled and also quite excited to see people actually connecting. Yeah, exactly.
What was it for you?
It was quite, initially it was quite a numbing experience.
Yeah.
And quite humbling too, because when we got to the premiere, for instance, there was quite a lot of people who came out, and most of them are people you've just seen or heard of, but they're also in the same industry, and they came out to support and to watch. And throughout the movie, I was nervous, looking at it from the point of view of an actor, remembering the sequence we shot different scenes in and looking for mistakes, or I should have said this way and this that way. So after the movie, again, nervous because you don't know how people are going to react, what people are going to say, oh, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. But I got quite a lot of good comments and positive comments, a lot of encouraging comments, and looking forward to work on those in the coming projects.
In coming projects.
Yes.
Did you have moments as well when you looked at it and you're thinking, okay, maybe this should have been done different, maybe this should have happened in a different way, or you're just like, oh, okay, not too bad. Really?
Definitely, as a filmmaker, you will have those moments all your life.
Okay.
It's an unending road of things you can always improve on. But I think it was a definitely really great project to work on. I think it visually looks nice. The stories, they really join in together. Great acting and fantastic all throughout. I think it's going to be absolutely great.
Simon, when you look at the film industry in Kenya, how would you describe it? Where is Kenya at, especially compared to first Africa? And what we see with the likes of Hollywood, of course, that's way up there. But Kenya, has it grown? And if it has, what are those factors contributing to that movement?
Well, the industry in Kenya has grown. I think we are a bit behind comparatively to other countries, and if you look at Hollywood, they've been at it for over a century, I think. Yeah. So I mean, we will take some time to get to possibly
Nigeria?
where Hollywood is. Of course, Nigeria have the numbers and so on, and they're quite aggressive. But we need to come up with our own system on how we can make our own movies. We can't just be aping other countries. We can definitely do it on ourselves, and we have the skills and the talent and the creativity in this country. But I want to say that right now there's a buzz happening. There is definitely a lot more people taking risks, a lot more people putting their ideas out there, a lot of more people taking up their arms or cameras and so on and so forth and shooting stuff. And that's a start. It has to start somewhere. And of course, gradually we will be able to prop up our stories much more and be able to think globally and see, okay, fine, we don't have to make movies just for the Kenyan market. We need to make it for the East African market, we need to make it for the African market and the world as well. And that's a direction we need to go to. Of course, we have challenges in terms of how do we commercialize this whole product? How do you make money from it? And those are discussions we need to have, actually. We shouldn't just keep crying about the government. Fine, we do have policy issues which we need to address, but also as an industry, as people who want to invest in this project, which can make actually a lot of money, we also need to look at ways we can make money from it and see how we can move forward. So I think definitely there are a lot more people. I mean, the whole idea that broadcasters are open to more local content and people are eager to see movies like Veve and so on and so forth, and Nairobi Half-Life before, then that shows you that there's a hunger that we need to fill up, and that's something we need to look at. Yeah.
What is it about Nigeria? Because you mentioned the numbers, but their movies appeal to quite a large mass here as well, to many people here in Kenya. So what is it about their industry compared to ours? Because I cannot sit through one of those things. I mean, it's it's crazy.
I think it appeals to the Nigerian stories are African stories. Okay. And a lot of their audience are people who can identify with the stories, because you find most of them are family situations where a parent maybe refuses to allow his son to marry a specific woman because she comes from a low family or a high family, and there are people who can identify with these stories. One of the things that makes Nigerian movies popular is I think their government has given them a lot of support in their industry, and there are people who take pride in owning authentic Nigerian movies in Nigeria. So they've perpetuated or cultivated this culture and spread it across the globe. So you find people who they've actually promoted themselves in such a way that people want to identify with them. They have the pidgin English accent, that there are certain people who, Oga.
Oga, I hear you now.
Yes. So there are people who identify with these stories, and because it is something that has gone, they've marketed themselves well across the continent. Their movies are easily accessible at a very low price. So people have an interest in watching them.
You agree, Shiv?
I do, yes, absolutely. There's definitely a market for that, and I think Kenya does have a certain market for it, definitely. Veve is, definitely a benchmark for it, I think. And in the future, definitely the market, the Kenyan film market, is going to grow a bit much bigger from here to fill that demand. And I see a lot of talent already out there in the market.
For the artists, in terms of pay and the kind of environment they have to work in, is there enough motivation to even want to really pursue this industry seriously and stay on and be fully in?
I think right now things are changing. Before, 10 years before now, I mean, things were really bad. You really couldn't make ends meet. People were really living from hand to mouth, literally. But right now, I think the dynamics are changing. That's why I'm saying there's a growth, there's a buzz. You know, fine, we don't have proper structures yet, but we are heading there. That's what I believe. And the thing is, actors are getting paid better. I mean, you can get 2 or 3 acting jobs and be able to manage at least rent for a month, if possible. So, I mean, right now it's really changing.
When you say that, then I wonder, because if, for example, you're going to be shooting for quite a long time, and you're getting rent for a month, and these gigs don't, I guess, come like, every other day. What happens when they're not around?
Yeah. Well, from an actor's point of view, let me just say, first of all, that this is my day job.
Okay.
Yes. There are people who live from acting. They make money, they pay their rent, they take their children through school. Of course, you'll have...
Off of acting. The people who do that.
Because of acting.
Okay.
They don't do anything else. They wake up in the morning and they breathe acting, they live acting, they drink acting, they sleep acting. It's how you market yourself. Of course, there are certain instances where you'll hear people complaining about low pay, we're not paid on time and stuff like that. But the more you go out there and find opportunities, because as Simon says, the industry is opening up. When I started acting, we didn't have that many opportunities. It was very difficult to break into the center, the core of the industry. But the more you work at it, the more you keep practicing, the more you look for the right opportunities, the more you surround yourself with people who are like-minded. You're supposed to dress for the job you want, not for the job you have. So keep trying to improve yourself and keep trying to move to the next level.
Yeah. Is this what you always wanted to do? And also, what do you tell somebody watching and thinking, I'd want to do that, be part of the people that bring together this life to stories by putting together pictures and film, just to be able to tell a story, whatever it is. Was it what you always wanted to do? And what do you tell those who want to do it?
It's definitely a nurtured hobby or something you grow into. I mean, I've always wanted to be an astronaut since I was young, but filmmaking was definitely a passion.
What happened to being an astronaut?
So, getting into film basically was a little project.
Yeah, he just went away.
I just went through the astronaut.
I know rockets in it.
Why am I not doing that again?
Why are you not telling us why you're not doing it?
But definitely filmmaking was a passion that I picked up very young with the influences of people around you, family, and my father was always into photography, and that's how I kind of picked it up. But portraying a story in a visual image is, I think, the art of that is a whole different way of expressing yourself. In terms of filmmaking, it's the same way we tend to show that out on camera, is really portraying reality and what you're feeling emotionally is relating to that current situation. And filmmaking has given me that avenue to express myself in my visual art that way, and I really love it, and I've been doing that.
What do you advise to someone who wants to do it?
Definitely, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of ups and downs, and you just have to be very dedicated and absolutely passionate for it to make it out there.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Director? Is that all you do, directing?
I also write, actually.
Okay.
I used to do cinematography, but not to his level. But right now I'm focusing on writing.
You on what? Which level?
I have a lower level. he's a very good cinematographer. But I mean, right now I do writing and also directing. That's my focus, essentially. And yes, I did aspire to do this once upon a time, but I didn't think that it could happen, very soon. and it doesn't happen very soon. And I think it works for actors, cinematographers, and other people in the business, that you need to be consistent but be patient. You know, the only thing, the thing that's possibly affecting us in terms of the quality of productions we put out there is we rush things too much. We don't invest time in the scripts we want to do. We don't invest time in learning how to act. We don't invest time in learning which cameras to use, lenses, and all that stuff. So we rush things, and we end up with something that's not really there. The idea is good, but it's not really there. And I think we need to be more patient and really invest time in terms of where we want to go, what we want to do. I'm not there yet as a director, and you never stop learning, actually. This thing is very dynamic, so you have to keep on improving yourself. But I think that's the one thing I would say. People need to just take time with themselves and really learn the craft they're in, so that they're able to give more to the world.
Okay, finally.
Yeah, for me, just now I realized that this is what I always wanted to do.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Just now, like this moment, when you're sitting over there?
No, not right now, but
okay.
In the recent past.
Yes,
because I've done quite a lot of things with my life, but you know, God puts a vision in you, and then He directs you in the right direction. He connects you with the right people, and this dream comes to fruition. I started acting at a very early age. I remember at one point we were staying at Daystar University, and I would get the children.
Daystar, yes.
My parents were working there, so we were staying in the staff quarters, and I would get the children, come, let's practice, let's act, and all these things. And it got to a point where I actually called the newspaper to come and cover our drama. And when they got there, my parents didn't know what was happening. The journalists were asking, so who is in charge of all this? Who called us? And they realized it was just a small boy.
Yeah.
So this is something that God put in me at a very early age. And just now, you know, I've done a lot of things. Like Simon says, it takes patience. It takes dedication. You have to be dedicated to your craft. But I believe most of all, put God first, because He gave you a vision.
Yes.
And He's the one who will direct you in whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah. And you know, yesterday we were talking to the director of the Kenyan National Theatre, and one of the things he was saying, even with the artists who've made it, and him being in the industry for so long, is a lot of it is also just that passion, being given to it. Of course, you want to get paid and all these other things. Things are not perfect, but being there fully with your heart and mind is one of the things that will keep you going. So wish you the best. Again, where do people catch the movie? How much is it? What else do they need to know? Yeah, when, how much, where?
Well, the presses are at the cinemas.
Yes.
I can't verify that. But I know this weekend, definitely in Nairobi, the 5th. Mombasa,
where in Nairobi?
Nairobi is at the Junction, at Junction Mall, and at Prestige Mall as well. The cinemas there.
Okay.
We're coming to Mombasa on the 5th. That's Friday. We'll be at Nyali Cinemax, so please turn out. And Kisumu will be there on the 6th at Planet Media Cinemas.
All
so
right.
please come up, let's watch this movie.
Everybody go and watch Veve. It's for you this morning, talking about that movie. Premiered last week. Lauri Odhiambo, Simon Mukali, and Shiv Mandavia with us this morning, bringing the show to an end. We thank you and wish you